I just finished rereading Ready Player One while I was driving.
Have you listened to the audio?
Yeah, I was listening to it. I actually finished it while I was...
I finished reading it while I was driving. Dallah, no. Dallah, don't. It's so dangerous. It's so dangerous.
Welcome to the JRPG Pursuit, a podcast about all things JRPGs, from the games we play to the games we collect and everything that's somewhat in the middle of all that. I don't know. My name's Dallah.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Branden. What a very just concise way of saying that. Dallah. I loved it.
Very concise.
I felt like I needed to change it up a little bit.
It's good to change.
You chose well.
I took a long-winded route. But today we're going to be talking about our favorite subject, JRPGs. But to be specific, Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest.
You know, with the recent release of, HD 2D 1 and 2, which we've all played, and you've at least seen Emily stream it, and Branden and I has done videos on it, so check those out. But we figured today we'll just kind of dedicate an episode to Dragon Quest specifically, talking about our experiences with the games, our loves, our not so loves, maybe.
Tactfully put, yes.
And then also like things that we'd like to see from the future of Dragon Quest, and also what would we like out of Dragon Quest 12 maybe one day when they finally do bring up any information about that game again.
Vaporware, it's vaporware.
It's not real.
Calling it now. Not real. Not happening.
It's gonna be it's gonna be the versus 13 of Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest. We're gonna get Noxus in Dragon Quest. They're just gonna call it,
Noxus?
Noctis?
Noctis?
Noxus?
Okay.
I think I was
like, wait a minute, is that like Noctis and Roxas from Kingdom Hearts?
No, I think my brain literally just mixed Roxas and Noctis. Yes. Anyways, as you could tell,
we'll be in Dragon Quest 12.
We're in
you
the
heard
zone
it first.
Yes.
So let's talk about our experiences with Dragon Quest first.
The granddaddy of all JRPGs, right?
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
Exactly. So I don't know. How about Emily?
Emily, hit us.
Oh, well, you start with
my first?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is, I guess, the modern player's perspective, because my first ever Dragon Quest game was Dragon Quest XI on the Switch. With the, I guess, the redefined, what's the subtitle? S of the, something of the elusive age.
11S, the Echoes on Elusive Age. Something. Yeah.
Something like that. Something like that. It's a mouthful.
We play games.
It is.
But, I have it right here.
Sorry, I have it right here.
Please read the official title.
Echoes of an Elusive Age.
There it is.
There it is.
It's elusive.
Mouthfully than I thought it was, but yes.
The title eluded us. So
it did. It's elusive.
It was elusive.
But I really thought it was one of the better turn-based RPGs that I played that, called back to some of the older mechanics that you see in, your regular turn-based, but I would say somewhat modernized them. Not super modernized, but still had that comfort zone that you equate, with Dragon Quest. And I thought they did great with the characters. There was a silent protag, but I think the other supporting characters were, so fun. And the story was good. I've complained about this a couple times on the podcast, I believe, but I was a little thrown off by the mid, credit roll there of thinking, is this the end?
Yeah.
And then seeing that there was more in the after that credit roll, that first one.
Yep.
Too much more. I would argue too much more.
A full game's worth, literally.
A lot more. But also the more satisfying ending, because the first ending they had was a little bit
dour.
That was it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. But overall, I thought that was a good way to, be introduced to Dragon Quest. And it had piqued my interest of playing the older ones. And so I've had a lot of the older ones on my backlog. It's just, so hard to rotate those into the forefront when there's so many new games coming out, especially these last few years. But my second ever Dragon Quest game has been recently Dragon Quest I HD 2D. And I've had so much fun with that and how different it was from 11. So it started from the beginning, with 1. And all the way up to the most recent Dragon Quest, mainline game, 11. It's been really interesting, eye-opening how much the series has changed and how, of course, they modernized one HD2D, which we'll get more into, of course, further through the podcast. But you guys share your history.
So
Since
you're
mine has been a little bit,
you're thoroughly
drier.
bookending the series. You've got the beginning and the end.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I'm sure I've shared on this podcast before how Dragon Warrior was like my first JRPG, and how it showed up unexpectedly at my house one day, and like I'm almost tired of talking about that because Nintendo Power gave me it for free because I was a cool dude, and they wanted to show me that they liked me.
You and these other households who ordered their magazine.
Yeah. No, just specifically Branden. Only
specifically me.
But
just specifically me.
Yeah.
And I put the series aside for I don't know, till the PS2, really. I don't know how many years that was. 15 years, 16 years.
Yeah.
And I kind of regret that. I kind of wish that I had played the other 3 releases on the Nintendo. Yep. Because they are actually pretty cool. I played the remakes of them, but playing them in the original form would have been cool. Mm-hmm. Dragon Quest VIII, I played a bit on the PS2. This unfortunately came out during the period of my life when I wasn't playing games as much. And so asking me to invest a huge amount of time into a very long, JRPG was not likely to go well. I think I mostly bought it because it had the demo disc for Final Fantasy XII in it. And I was very excited to get to try that because that was a series that I had stuck with. Ended up not really liking Final Fantasy XII, but that's a whole other irony.
Sad.
You're hurting Emily with that.
You are. It's okay, though.
No, I mean,
I'm just
I didn't care for it.
We have differences in taste. It's all right.
I'm not saying it's a bad game. It just did not work for me.
It wasn't for you, though. It's okay.
Yeah.
And I played just a little bit of 8, and I thought it was really cool, but again, wasn't going to stick with it. 9, obviously, I won't say obviously, but like, I just was not into the series. I had no reason to pick up 9. And then 11. 11 was where I really got back on board and was like, okay, like this is actually pretty great. I had
all the pieces
enough of that nostalgia to be like, okay, I get the references, like the sound cues and the music and these things that have been around, for all these years, 40 years or whatever. Has it been 40 years? God almighty. Not quite.
87.
Not just yet.
Not quite. Getting there.
But almost.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, they've been around all that time. So, it was like, it was cool to kind of see that. And what do I want to say? And then, kind of jumping back to the DS games, like, I played through 4, 5. I haven't played 6
Expensive
yet.
DS games.
They are now, man. I fortunately got them. They were still kind of pricey, but I got them before they really blew up.
You didn't get them when they were clearanced?
Not when they were clearanced, unfortunately. Sad. I had them originally. I bought them originally on the DS, and then didn't play them and sold them, and then had to rebuy them. Or at least 4. I don't think I bought 5 and 6, but I bought 4 originally. But yeah, I mean, the remakes are great.
Yeah.
And then Dragon Quest III HD 2D, I thought was a really cool game. Very fun, very beautiful. Did not care for it in its totality because it has no story. Like, there's no story in Dragon Quest III. And I stand by that. Some people they kind of bristle when I say that. There's no story in 3. The story is, guy saves the world, then gets isekai'd to another world that he then saves. The end. Like there's no worlds plural. Yeah. There's no characters, so there's no character development. It's rough for somebody like me.
So this is the standard DQ3, not the HD remaster.
It is the HD remaster. There's no story, there's no characters in DQ3 period. Okay. They would have had to change way too much to add characters to that game because you form your party from, you go to like the pub and hire people. Right. So there could be no continuity of character because you could
anyone.
You can create as many characters as you want and bring them in and out of your party or whatever. So it obviously, with a silent protagonist and a silent entire party, there really can't be character development. So
No.
did not care for that. That's rough for somebody like me who's story first. DQ1 though, I really kind of went into DQ1 with HD 2D, I should say, with these expectations that like, okay, like I'm excited to see it because I'm so nostalgic for the first game, but I'm expecting it to be kind of more like DQ3 story light, you know, because the first game was extremely, you know, the story was rescue the princess, kill the dragon lord. That was the story.
Yep.
But I was so surprised by how much they added to DQ1. Just an enormous amount of new content, new characters, new things to do. Like they tied it more thoroughly into the Erdrick trilogy. You know, it's like functions as the second game in the trilogy much better than it did.
And
originally.
the things he added, I thought were pretty seamless. Like I didn't know it was added. It's the first time playing, you know, Dragon Quest I. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm like, oh, this is new. In my chat, I'm like, oh, it's new. Okay.
Yeah, they did a really good job with integrating everything. And then DQ2, man. So DQ2 has always been near the top of my favorite DQ list. I played the Game Boy Color version of Dragon Quest II. As an adult, right, in my 30s, I played it. And I just really liked it. I was really surprised by how like in depth it felt for being such an early game.
Yeah.
They elevated DQ2 in the remake so much. It is just so good. It's so freaking good, guys. Like, it's so I love it. I love it. And we'll probably talk in more detail about some of this stuff in this episode, but it's just like, this is how you do it. Yeah. This is how you do it, guys.
This is how remakes should be done.
This is how you do it.
It's like, because like the great thing about it is that like you're getting this dual, like, you know, you're getting first and second game back to back. So you're playing these like, you know, in such a cool way that like my favorite part was playing 2 and revisiting the cities that you kind of explored as the hero from the first game. And there's like little hints and little bits and pieces of like characters who are like then also descendants of like those other characters that you met in the first game. And so like it's just
that's so satisfying.
It's like such a like it feels way more lived in, and it really creates this whole idea of like, you know, they are truly the descendants of Erdrick, and they're on this like, you know, this journey, and they're trying to follow in the footsteps, and they also have like all these other people who also are following in the footsteps of their families. And their expectations there.
Yeah.
So
it's really cool. That generational progression. You don't see that in a lot of sequels of games, right?
No. Yeah, definitely not. It's like just the fact, and even back on the NES, right? The how mind-blowing it must have been to play this game back when it first came out.
Oh yeah.
You play Dragon Quest I and the world feels so enormous. I remember it felt so big to me. Like there's so many places you can go. And then you get to Dragon Quest II and you're in a different world and you're whatever. But then you cross the ocean and you find out, oh, here's the entire world from the first game also here. So like
it reminds me of, you know, Pokemon, like, you know, going from Gen 2 into Gen 1.
Oh, that going to the
it opens up.
Yeah.
Honestly. You take the boat ride over to Kanto. Like, hello, I've been here.
Yeah. Very, very, very cool. And same with 3, right? Like if you're playing 3, if you played 3 when it first came out, you think, okay, I'm in a completely new world now. I can sail all around it. I've seen every corner of this world. It's completely new. And then all of a sudden you get that twist where you suddenly are finding yourself isekai'd into Alefgard. And then you have that whole world there. It's like, holy cow, like so cool. Like, very cool.
Yeah. That was supposed to be a pretty monumental like moment in gaming, right?
Yeah.
I guess Square Enix kind of spoiled by making that the first HD 2D game they released. I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit iffy about how they went about that.
I kind of understand it. Like, I think the idea is that at this point, it's so thoroughly spoiled that like it's not going to be surprising anymore. And also doing it this way, let them tie, especially the first game, a lot more thoroughly into the trilogy. Like make it a pivotal part of the story. Like with the whole the sigils thing, which you know is a key part of the new version of 1. Ties it really well into the second game even better, and it all just kind of works as a trilogy. So I do kind of understand why they did it. It would have been cool if if that twist had still worked. I don't know if it would have.
Yeah.
I just wondering, like, I think people who have no idea what Dragon Quest is, they go to a game store, they look on the shelves, they say Dragon Quest 1 and 2, and then 3. They're probably going to pick up 1 and 2 before 3, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder if they would still get hit by that surprise. Like, oh.
Maybe they would.
This is what's gonna happen.
If they had never played it. Yeah, I imagine they would.
Yeah.
I mean, there are parts, there are parts in 2 and in 1 where they kind of directly reference how he came from another world. So like, if you're paying attention in 1 and 2 and then you play 3, you might be like, wait a minute, didn't they talk about this?
Sometimes foreshadowing, people don't
It might fly over somebody's head.
Yeah, if they have no idea, if they've never played 3, they don't know really the Erdrick storyline. It most likely probably will fly over their heads.
I feel like a lot of people don't who are modern players, so I feel like that was kind of a missed opportunity. Like a lot of people didn't know, what happened at the end of Trails in the Sky first chapter, and they were surprised.
It's true.
Still, even though game's been out for over 25 years.
True. Yeah.
It's a little bit more niche, but yeah.
You got to separate yourself, I guess, from the fan community and like think about it as
like
one of these
a normie.
A normie. Well, normie.
Not even just a normie. Like, there's been so many games out. If you were born in a certain era, you may not have had an opportunity to play some of the older games.
Yeah, there's a lot of younger.
Like, I didn't. So.
Yeah, a lot of younger Japanese, like JRPG fans out there who didn't grow up like us. Like
we're interested.
Us oldies in our, enjoying our NES games.
I wasn't even around the NES, so I don't know about you guys. I guess I'm a youngin in this conversation.
So I can
PS2 was my first home console.
So that can also key into like my experience with Dragon Quest. And so the same thing with like Branden. I started, playing Dragon Warrior on the NES. That was my first experience with Dragon Quest as a whole. And, at the time, I didn't finish it really. As a kid.
I didn't know anybody who finished it. It was so hard.
So like I didn't finish it till much later in life. When I came back to it as a much older kid or like a teenager or like 18 or something like that. I don't know how old, I forgot how old I was. But I never played Dragon Warrior 2 or 3. Like I just always played 1. But I never came back and played 2 or 3, even with this, the later versions of them, like for the Game Boy, like you mentioned, Branden. So I never got into that. So those were like, going into this HD 2D versions, like 2 was like something I never experienced. So that was kind of cool to see, like experiencing that for the first time was really amazing. But, as for my experience, post NES, I did play 7 on the PS1. I don't we were talking about this earlier, and I don't really have a lot of memory of that game. Like I remember playing it, but it was so long ago and I haven't played it since that I just don't remember a lot of it. So I do look forward to playing the remake of that coming out soon. So that's awesome. And then I did play Dragon Quest VIII on the PS2. And then also played like the 3DS version of that too. Because I love Dragon Quest VIII is when I kind of got back into truly enjoying like Dragon Quest for what it was. But then again, I didn't really play any other Dragon Quest games for some reason. Like it's just like I always like liked some Dragon Quest games, but then I would just like not get the I never got any of the 2DS versions and things like that. I think I have like a couple of them now, but I never played them at the time. And so I didn't play another Dragon Quest game.
Just the regular DS?
Yes. Yes.
The remake of DS.
That's all.
Yes. Not the 2DSs in the
3DS version.
The 3DS version. But also, I didn't really get back into Dragon Quest after that until I got 11. And I thought like 11 was incredible. It was very long.
Very long.
Extremely long. I was shocked by how long it was taking me. Because I take much longer in general.
I just loaded up my save to get footage recently. I think it was over 80 hours, my like clear save.
And that's like Branden with over 80 hours.
That's Branden over 80 hours.
That's Branden with over 80 hours.
That's a long game.
So I was over.
I think I did the
100.
same. I didn't do all of the post content though. I did to get the better ending, but I
rolled credits twice. I didn't go beyond all that. So
yeah, and so like 11, I thought was incredible. I loved, like it was just the most nostalgic experience because it kind of really made me think of Dragon Quest like 1 and like kind of brought me back to that feeling of playing Dragon Quest 1 or Dragon Warrior. With, good reason.
Interesting thing about 11 though is I feel like it's one of the more divisive entries from non-fans. Like I see people who are really into it and also people who don't get it. Like, why is this fun? Or what's the charm of this game? Like, it's kind of boring. That's what I've heard some people say who are not fans of the series.
I think that's where we can try to move the conversation along into like what makes what
makes Dragon Quest fun, I think.
Or like what are Dragon Quests? Yeah, like because Dragon Quest to me is like it's what you expect from a JRPG. Like it's
got all the right ingredients, right?
It's got the old school experience, with Final Fantasy changing things up and all these other JRPGs. Because like when I think when 11 came out, there was a lot of like turn-based was like on a little bit of a lull.
Decline
in terms of like big heavy hitting like turn-based
outside of like strategy RPGs.
Yeah,
but that's niche in itself.
Yeah, like I don't know, I can't remember. Branden, what do you think? Was it?
I'm trying to remember that time.
People are kind of riding off the high of Persona 5 still and thinking that's the only turn-based they need.
Yeah. Because, like, I can't quite remember exactly, but I feel like at the time, because we were just, like, coming off of the PS3 era, it was, like, still early, like, PS4 era. And we weren't
Was it early? It wasn't that, was it
I don't think it was that early.
It was like halfway through.
Mid.
Was it halfway through?
Yeah. I say it was middle.
I mean, I didn't feel like there was maybe less than there is today, but certainly not as bad as the PS3 in terms of lack of turn-based games.
Like there weren't a lot of mainstream, I would say, turn-based games.
Yeah,
outside Persona 5.
And Dragon Quest being like the series that it is, especially in Japan, but like even here, there's a lot of hardcore fans here.
It's recognizable.
We hadn't had a console Dragon Quest game since 8. 9 was handheld only, 10 was only in Japan. Like it was a big deal when it came out over here.
A lot of fanfare.
Yeah,
I even got my brother to buy it, who's not into turn-based RPGs.
Right, yeah, and that's the kind of person that I'm like, I don't know if they are going to see the appeal of a game like Dragon Quest XI coming in completely cold. Now, that's not to say that you couldn't like it, because like obviously if we like Dragon Quest, there was a time when we played our first Dragon Quest game. And we probably liked it enough that we were like, I want to play another one, right? So like, I liked Dragon Warrior. I was too dumb to beat it, but I liked it. And then basically wasn't until 8 or till 11 that I really sat down and fully played another one. But like I had that baseline and knew that I wanted to do it. So, but yeah, there are some elements of Dragon Quest as a series that I could see being hard sells for somebody who's not like already a fan.
Tapped
like,
in.
Yeah, like one of the things that I think makes it unappealing or could make it unappealing to somebody new is the random nature of the combat, right? So like when you're fighting a battle in Dragon Quest, everybody inputs their commands, and then there's a whole lot of behind the scenes dice rolling where your agility is being pitted up against the enemies and the other characters in your party, and you never really know what order your characters are going to go in. So you will run into situations where, like, and I've had this happen with Dragon Quest II, like powering through parts of Dragon Quest II, where I will try the same battle 3 times, and the first time I will almost beat it. The second time I will get crushed in the first 2 turns, and then the third time I beat it. And I'm not doing anything different. My strategy does not differ. It is the same, and it's just the random nature
RNG
that's
gods.
Yeah, and that is
do you pass or not?
In the in the era of games, like if they're turn based, they've got the turn order clearly listed, and it's very clear. I could just see, I don't know, I could see that being an issue for people. If it's something that kind of bugs me and I'm already a fan, I could see it being a real big issue for somebody who's not already bought in. What do you guys think about that?
No, I completely agree with that. Like,
it could be frustrating, especially if there's not like a auto save or retry option. There is, at least in the modern ones, but maybe
Yeah.
not modern ones. That was not the case.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And a lot of the older ones, especially like the harder sell about them is like just the styling that they would have is very old school. Like you have those battles that are in first person mode, that like, you know, compared
They're
to,
all in a line.
yeah. And like,
little,
it's just the
little too, like, animations are not great.
Yeah, like it was very like primitive in their styling for those games, and so like they would be very old school from that perspective. Like they kind of kept to the tradition of like how like Dragon Quest has always been in terms of like that visual representation of how the battles work and things like that. It wasn't until like, you know, Dragon Quest 11 that things kind of, you get to see like a
more spice for sure with the visuals.
Yeah.
But even then, like if people are having trouble with 11, it's not the combat, let's say. It's not the graphics. I'm wondering if it's like the story pacing that has them a little bit less enthused. Like I think there's some great high points in the story, except it takes a while to get there. And so you have to enjoy the journey and the slow pace of it, I think, to really soak in the feels of Dragon Quest and get in that like mindset. Like, okay, we are experiencing this at our own pace. We're just having fun. We're vibing.
There's a lot of
I think
lulls.
it's hard sometimes.
Yeah, there's a lot of lulls in Dragon Quest. I feel like it's like you get these like really high, like, you know, big moments,
epic moments.
Epic. You have these epic moments that you're going through, and then all of a sudden you're like kind of, you know, you're going on like a little adventure from town to town, and you're doing these things like that.
Yeah, we're going on the plane here. We're just gonna try to farm some metal slimes. Nothing else to do.
Well, and that's the grind.
That's the thing about Dragon Quest storytelling that I think is probably hard for people to get that aren't already bought in. Is it's not really so much about the big plot.
Yes.
Like the big plot is often very simple. Like in Dragon Quest II, it's, you know, there's an evil. I have to get the magical MacGuffins around the world so that I can go and face the evil guy. That's the plot.
Yeah.
It's not so much the plot that is interesting to someone like me. It's the little stories that happen along the way. So when you go to a new town, you're meeting new people, and especially in a game like DQ2 or even 1, the remake, like you're having a lot more interesting little mini narratives that are happening as you go. And there's characters that are cool, and you know, even if they don't come into
talking to NPCs.
It's like even if they don't come into play in the story later, it's still like a fun, interesting story beat along the way. And Dragon Quest 11 is much the same, right? Like there is a big overall plot, but it's not. It's maybe bigger than in a lot of the other ones. But it's not.
It is,
It's not the biggest. It's not the most in depth or intricate plot. But it's like lots of little things along the way. Yeah, you're saving the world, right?
You're the chosen one. Save the world.
And the beautiful thing about like what made, I think for me, what I liked about Dragon Quest 11 especially is that, like, you know, Emily brought it up, is like those characters, and the character, like they're really good at making character moments, and the characters in 11 were just like so much more interesting.
Yeah.
And so seeing
I love the
them,
moment, like halfway through where you get to be those characters, you know, and deviate from the normal path of what a Dragon Quest game played. That was like where it clicked. Like, I love this game. This is so cool.
Exactly. And so, like, you know, because like, you know, silent protagonists and all, just there's always left a lot of room for, you know, it kind of takes away a little bit from the storytelling from my, you know, from our perspective. You know, we've talked about it before,
but I think
at least for
fans
me.
still like that.
They still love it. Like,
I feel like we're not necessarily the norm of Dragon Quest fans.
No,
right?
I think,
and as far as like the story goes, and like it's never going to be as rich of a story if your main character is not participating in it in a meaningful way. And that's kind of been Dragon Quest's thing since the beginning. Yuji Horii seems to feel very strongly about it as an element of the genre almost, or at least of his contribution to the genre.
Which is kind of interesting because with the HD 2D remakes, there's a little bit of
does kind of break some of that a couple times. Interestingly, but well,
maybe that's his comment about how he thought silent protagonists are kind of dumb. right?
Yeah,
Maybe they're building off of that now.
I mentioned that in a video, and somebody commented that his quote was taken out of context, and that's not what he was saying or whatever. But I don't know. There's some debate about it. I think it might just be people coping with the fact that they don't understand or he's changing his views on things. My position has always been that, it's been that I don't care for it, obviously. And that, if a main character is going to be a meaningful part of the story, then having them be silent is a detriment to the story. For games like Dragon Quest I, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
Like you are just your character is just kind of a vessel for advancing the plot. It's not really participating in it, just advancing it. In 2, you have your party of characters around you, and they do the heavy lifting as far as like character stuff goes. It is nice to have characters with you that can talk back to the people that you're talking to. Like that's cool.
Yes. Conversations.
Yeah, like silent protagonists are like more of a Western RPG idea, and I feel like the Japanese
they brought to extreme.
Yeah, the Japanese take on it is missing the thing that makes it work in Western RPGs. This is just a tangent because every opportunity I get to talk about this, I just want to.
He does love it.
I love to talk about it. Western RPGs give you immense freedom to choose, how you want to respond or what you want to do. JRPGs with silent protagonists don't. You very rarely have a JRPG where you get to make a meaningful contribution to the plot as a silent protagonist. At best, you are choosing dialogue options that lead to the same destination, right? Like Persona 5, for example. You have a lot of variety of, options you can choose to say as a silent protagonist in conversation, but none of it really matters. You still end up at the same...
react differently.
You get a different reaction from the other characters. You're still at the same destination in the end.
Yeah.
In Dragon Quest, it's even less. You never say more than yes or no. You get to choose yes or no. And Dragon Quest is famous for like not even giving you a choice there. It's the whole but thou must.
Flipping it back.
The but thou must, right? Like
you can't reject me. What do you mean? I'm your princess.
There's literally there's no choice. You're given it's barely an illusion of choice. So I've always been critical of that about Dragon Quest, and people get upset about that because they consider it part of the like comfort food nature of Dragon Quest. And I did want to talk about that too. Like Dragon Quest as the comfort food JRPG and what it means for a series to not change, to kind of be consistent,
but also engaging at the same point where you don't get tired of the consistency, right?
Yeah,
that's
consistent,
the big thing.
Yeah.
Consistent, dependable, but still intriguing.
It's a hard line, right, to do, I think.
It's very tricky. And here's the thing, like what do you guys think from either from your own perspectives or from what you've heard, read online, etc.? What are the elements that like people consider to be this is the Dragon Quest? This is like what makes this comfort food. This is what makes the series consistent.
I would say the character designs. And then also just the simple combat, like no frills, the funny names maybe, but no frills.
Yeah, I feel like the silliness of it, but also I think it's just the gameplay loop. The gameplay loop is very traditional, like turn-based RPG. Like you're going to go in, you have your magic, you have your attack, and you have your party or lack thereof party in terms of Dragon Quest I.
Build up that gold, build up that XP,
and it's heavy on the grind. Especially with like the older Dragon Quest games, like it's all about the grind. You're about to get the numbers up. So it kind of fits that notion of like how you always thought of JRPGs growing up as like being a very grind heavy experience. I feel like it's always just been kind of like in that vein of things. How about you?
Okay.
How do you think?
I mean, I actually really struggle with the notion that Dragon Quest is like as consistent as people want to say that it is, want to believe that it is. Like Dragon
Outside of,
Quest,
like character designs.
like sure,
monster
I mean,
designs, I think are consistent. That's about.
they've had Akira Toriyama has been, was the designer for the whole time, and his characters look very
Iconic.
distinctly him, right? Like very, you can tell a Toriyama design for sure.
They don't change the music, magic names, right? The music,
the music, Koichi Sugiyama, like iconic. The sound, the Dragon Quest sound is very iconic. So visually, audibly, Dragon Quest definitely has like an identity that is recognizable. But and gameplay wise, right? Like you said, the gameplay, the kind of straightforward, no frills combat. The most frilly that it has gotten, I think, is like in 11, where you have the pep or whatever. Or did they introduce it in 8? Did that come in 8?
I
7?
think it's.
It may not have been introduced in 11.
I don't think. I'm trying to remember in 8. It's been so long since I played it.
Let us know in the comments if you know when the whole pep thing came about. But it was like, it wasn't. Yeah. It's something that it's like basically Limit Break kind of. It's their own kind of slightly unique take on Limit Break. So it's been basically the same gameplay wise from the beginning. Yeah. But Dragon Quest, like in other areas, like has taken some really big swings and done things really differently. And people don't seem to think about that. They don't recognize that because, in some ways the changes have been gradual, right? Mm-hmm. Like over the course of the entire series, things have shifted. But yeah, like, Dragon Quest IV introducing the whole, like the concept of this multi-chapter storytelling where you've got, all these different protagonists that you're playing as, and then they all come together in a final chapter where you are then the party, the whole team, right? Yeah. That was, who had done that before, right? That was brand new. The multi-generational storytelling of 5, right? That's, other games have done that. And I honestly I can't remember if Phantasy Star 3 came before Dragon Quest V. I don't know what the order was there, but they were kind of contemporaries with each other. Yeah. They both kind of did that, but, 9 being a multiplayer game, 10 being online, right? Online, there
1 to 2. There's one protagonist
adding,
and a party
going from a single protagonist to a whole party, right? Like you are seeing a ton of really significant changes. And to me, the things that I think of are as iconic as the things that make Dragon Quest comfortable, recognizable, that sort of thing, are just the superficial things. The way it looks, the way it sounds, the fact that the sound effects for some certain things have been the same since the Nintendo. When you transition from one screen to another, you get that sound everywhere, It used to just be when you would like go downstairs. Now it's for every time you change. I don't know why they do that. But, and like the victory chime sound thing, like a lot of these things,
opening chests, all that.
Yeah, it's like these are the things to me that like that's what the consistency has been. This is like the nostalgia, right? But it has changed quite a bit in terms of its storytelling. So like to me, like I did a video recently about this, which is why this is all kind of fresh in my mind. Like to me, it would not be out of the realm of possibility for the next Dragon Quest to have a speaking protagonist. Like, I don't think that that's crazy. I don't think having a silent protagonist is core to the identity of Dragon Quest. I don't think it has to be that. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Definitely agree. It doesn't have to be silent protagonist for 12.
No, I don't think that. I feel like you said, Dragon Quest has evolved in many different ways.
I think they've sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, like, when it comes to the term comfort food, it's usually thought of as favorably, right? Rather than seem boring, like I think some other series has unfortunately kind of devolved into over the years. But comfort food doesn't necessarily mean you're eating the same like soup or something, right? Sometimes you could spice it up and have it transform and evolve with time. So I think that's probably the essence that people are saying when they use the term comfort food. Like, this is something that's familiar, but also exciting me. So I want to keep eating it. Otherwise, I'm just going to be bored. It's going to be bland
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the problem, I think, also is like this whole idea of comfort food or Dragon Quest being like, you know, the typical JRPG experience that people have come to realize is a product of like its external factors. Because there's like a lot of people who are, you know, either jaded or not by the Final Fantasy changing its styles, or the case of the market where a lot of turn-based RPGs were just not happening. We get more action RPGs or other things like that. Like, I think there's a lot of external factors that people look to and say like, oh, well, with Dragon Quest, at least I can kind of more or less expect certain things from it.
Mhm.
Sure, you know, you get like the massive, like the MMO versions of things like that, but I mean, we never got
There's
that
less
here.
risk.
There's less risk. Like they'll do changes,
Pure risks.
but it's not as drastic as like, you know, going from Final Fantasy 10 to like 16 and things like that. So like you're not jumping. It's not completely changing the genre of the game.
Right.
So you're always going to get some sort of like
more the core experience, really,
quote unquote traditional JRPG experience, whether that shifts in how it's the narration goes, or, you know, it tackles certain things in a different way.
I guess for some reason when you were saying like traditional JR, like you sounded like Dr. Evil. You sounded like Mike Myers during Dr. Evil for a second there, and I like almost lost it.
Laser beams.
Traditional JRPGs, guys, come on, throw me a freaking bone. Sorry, but yeah, like,
I think this conversation is interesting because I think we both have, or we all have, like, I think we're saying the same thing, but maybe slightly differently.
Yeah,
you know. Like, I think definitely the series has evolved over the years, but it still has that core familiarity that I think people are really attached to and are happy to see, you know, continued throughout the almost 40 years that Dragon Quest has been around.
And that's where I was going, was like Dragon Quest has always had a vehicle for experimentation, drastic changes to gameplay, and that's the spin-off games. Like you've got Dragon Quest Monsters for like monster collecting. You've got, you know, action RPG games in there.
Builders.
Frickin' Muso games, right? Like Minecraft, like they have all sorts of avenues to where they can explore these drastic changes and not do it in the mainline games. You know, you could argue, I think you'd have a good argument to make if you said Final Fantasy could have learned from that too and saved its drastic changes and experimentation for spin-off games and things like that. You know, I think after Sakaguchi left Square, Final Fantasy kind of lost its identity. And I'm not saying that's not always a bad thing. Like having the ability to change and evolve is not,
it's still considered a AAA, right? JRPG franchise. It's not bad.
But without that core, like, singular vision behind it, like Yuji Horii for Dragon Quest,
right
it's
now
easier
we just
for a
see
series to
Moogles
evolve.
and Chocobos, right?
Yeah, you just have iconography that's the same, and that's kind of my argument about Dragon Quest. Like in the mainline series, other than like the difference being the gameplay stays pretty core, stays pretty similar. It's really just the iconography of the series that makes it so consistent, feel so consistent. You know, and like the way the story is told. And I think that, you know, the reason Dragon Quest has been successful is it is able to give you that nostalgic, good feeling, that comforting feeling of like, you know, kind of generally what you're going to get. But it also does a really good job of just like iterating and telling a fun story anyway. And not just fun. Like sometimes it's like heartbreaking. I don't know. Like some of the stuff in 2, man, I was like, oh, this is stabbing me in the heart. It's like, it's good stuff. Like, and to think that it's like from a little game that's like adapted from this, you know, 30 something year old video game. Like it's nuts.
Yeah. It's incredible.
They added stuff like that too in the first game that I played so far. I was like, oh, we're going there. Okay.
Yeah, the whole like side plot in the remake of 1 with Gwaelin's guard and like her dad and all that stuff is really, really cool. I was very pleased with how they handled that.
Yeah, it's incredible what they did with like the storytelling in those games within the remakes in general. Like they added so much depth to just a simple like hero must save the world. And I think that's what Dragon Quest does so well is that as they've evolved, they've gotten so good at creating these like side threads with characters and with the world that just like it just increases the world building and gives it more depth to like you're not just a party of heroes going off to beat the bad guy. There's like all these little things that are happening along the way, and cities that you visit that have like little quirks or things that are happening within those cities that are very different experiences. And so like I don't know, it just feels, it's hard to describe because like it reminds me of like there's a couple of anime. Like you ever watch the anime Kino's Journey?
Yeah.
Where like in the concept of that anime, you have this character who is riding a talking motorcycle and it's going from city to city, and each city has its own like, I wouldn't say like maybe a philosophical like
there's like a core concept about each place that Kino goes to that's different and philosophically intriguing in some way. Yeah,
exactly. And I feel like Dragon Quest kind of lightly touches on that kind of same concept where like these group of heroes are going from place to place, and each place kind of has its own identity, and the people are very specific and designed in a certain way that you're like dealing with like little side quests or side things that are happening that kind of just keeps you intrigued and keeps you interested in learning more about the world. And it makes every place that you visit become very like iconic to me.
Yeah, that's actually a really good analog for Dragon Quest, like the way the story's told. And that's, again, something that, I can't speak to how consistent it's been with the original games, right?
Yeah.
I didn't play 2, 3, and 4 or 5 and 6 in their original forms, or 7. I haven't played any in the original forms. Give me a break. But, like, at least in the remakes and in the re-releases of these games, we're seeing that kind of storytelling pretty consistently. And honestly, like the fact that 1 and 2 in particular are so willing to go to those extra lengths to really tell compelling stories with really interesting, compelling characters. It's like that makes me really optimistic for the future, because it's clear that as much as like some of the fan base of Dragon Quest thinks that like, no, Dragon Quest has to be the same all the time or it's ruined. It's like they're willing to go back to these games and like surgically alter them. Like Dragon Quest 1 and 2 in particular are pretty different.
Yeah.
Pretty different from the first versions of those games. And there have been a lot of versions of a lot of the games, and they've changed all the time. So like they are not afraid to change it up. So who knows what 12 could be, assuming that it exists and it's not vaporware. And Yuji Horii hasn't been trolling us for like 6 years now.
At least 6 years, man.
Yeah, how long has it been? It's been so long.
When did they announce that? I don't even remember. Was it
so
20?
long?
They did. I mean, it was like they showed a burning
dragon
logo.
clawed out things.
Yeah, and then it's like said the flames of fate, or I don't know what it was.
It was back in 2021.
Oh, was it? Okay. It was not as far as I thought, but that's still a long time.
It's still a long time to have like no information. Like,
and in that same live stream, they announced Dragon Quest X offline, and they never brought it over here.
No.
I just want to say, first of all, don't do that to me again, guys. That's not nice. Don't show that stuff off and then just nope.
Right.
Sorry. You ain't
Well, it's
getting
interesting, right? Because I think Dragon Quest, they used to be all farmed out, right? It was never in-house in Square Enix, and now they're bringing it in-house. So I'm curious what the next steps will be after, all these remakes they've been doing for the classic games, the early games. What's 12 going to be like now?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what 12. I mean, we're supposed to get something darker, but
mature.
Did he say that, or like where's that coming from? Because I've heard people say that, but I don't recall where that like was sourced.
I've seen that quoted everywhere, so I imagine it was said somewhere, but I don't know.
Like Yuji Horii said it or something. I mean, I don't
Some
doubt
interview.
it. I just wonder where it like came from. Like it showed a dark, scary scene with like fire. Sure, that's
There must have been some
dark.
press release that Square Enix gave out, but I don't know.
Honestly, like,
so
at this point, if it's been this long and there's been nothing shown, it's entirely possible they have gone back to the drawing board and like whatever they were planning is not, like it might not even be that anymore. Maybe they'll change the subtitle.
After what happened with like Final Fantasy, I would not be surprised. Especially if they were actually going to do action.
I would be shocked if they were going to, because like I was saying earlier, like they have a vehicle to do action RPG, like Dragon Quest Treasures, Dragon Quest The Dark Prince, those are action RPG, right? Is the Dark Prince, maybe that was turn based, but like they do have action RPG spin-offs. So like if he was really going to do that, like I feel like that would raise a lot of questions among the fan base. Like they'd have to start, it would be real existential for a lot of people. It's just like, wait a minute, has it all been a lie? Like this consistency, like have I been the only one fighting this war? Am I the only one fighting this war online? Yuji Horii doesn't even have my back.
So apparently there was like a conversation with Yuji Horii.
Okay.
And then like
he said the Chrono Trigger remake is in progress. And
yeah, that's exactly it. And he said that it's going to come out the same year as 12. It's going to be like a joint, a dual. It's going to be a dual packaged.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, incredible.
No, but he doesn't say outright it, but like the person asking him was like, "Oh, we've heard that you've mentioned that it's going to be darker," and he did not say no. He was like, "Yeah,
didn't
say no."
Classic non-denial.
So where'd mature come from? That word. That word
I don't
specifically.
Yeah, it's
no, but a problem I think sometimes with gaming media. A lot of things spread like wildfire.
Lately, there's been a lot more like
like look at the announcement and like the little bit that's been said about it, and then all of the words that have been written about those few words that were said. Like, depending on the writer and who, like, how excited they are and what their predisposition is, like that becomes the conversation. It's like a game of telephone where like every subsequent article is more removed from where it started. But
the issue I think also is different languages. And so we read someone's translation and then we just go with that, how they translated it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the same intent that was intended.
Exactly. It's very complicated, folks. It's very complicated.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance in translation, and like if you're machine learning it, then you might not get the nuances.
Which a lot of, honestly, on Twitter, a lot of people do that.
Yeah. So that's the problem with that.
I thought it might be fun to talk a little bit, at least, about the quote unquote censorship that has happened with Dragon Quest in recent years. In recent years, because it comes up in every video. Like anytime I do anything related to Dragon Quest on YouTube, I get people that say, "Is it censored?" Or if there's censorship, I won't buy it. Or is it woke? Or do they have male and female or whatever? Like I get these questions, or people straight up saying they're not going to buy it because it's woke now or whatever. And people will often point to that interview with Yuji Horii where he's saying like, yeah, like they were changing it to type A and type B, and that's weird. And like, I don't get it. And kind of, being an old man, which is, fair. He is.
He's an old man.
Being an old man about it, which is fine. Like, to me, the censorship, like it's like they did change some of the character designs. Like in 3, the female, was it barbarian? They put more clothes on her. There's a couple of things that they changed the designs for a little bit.
Guys.
It's like, I don't think they needed to do that, but the fact that they did, whatever, like it doesn't bother me.
I don't care. They're sprites.
Like it's, if that's how you're getting your jollies, then you still have the original pictures. They're out there.
You do.
But yeah, I mean, like,
there.
I think a lot of times stuff online, it gets broken down into like this camp versus that camp. It's all like it's like this team. My team thinks that these things are bad. So,
Branden, the console wars are over now. Did you not see what Xbox did? Therefore, we need to make
I saw that the console wars are finally over. Thank God. I can put down my bayonet. I can finally lay down my arms.
Just place your arms down.
Now that I'm just a PC guy anyway, like we're
just PC
play everything
people
on PC. So
that's all. It all is on the PC. I mean, honestly, like from a censorship perspective, like yes, censorship is inherently like nobody likes being censored. But like I feel like a lot of the complaints on censorship is generally around like there's not enough cleavage in this character now.
Where's the skin?
Or like, you know, they just like, it's always these kind of little things. And I'm just like, all right, like, I don't know. I guess
I feel like their battles are not where they should be directed if they're really concerned about free speech and censorship.
Yeah, it's not,
in my opinion.
It's not really changing anything fundamental about the game. Like if there was something censored, like taken out of the story because it was deemed we couldn't handle it or something. Like, you know, Xenosaga Episode 1 had some
I was actually just about to bring it up.
Yeah, had some fairly significant US censorship where they straight up changed like a key scene, at least one key scene, albedo scene with Momo. Like they straight up changed it to make it less, you know, like it actually kind of diminished the emotional impact of the scene. So I could see being upset about something like that.
Topics on religion too, right? Didn't Dragon Quest do something like that?
Well, Nintendo as a whole, like back in Nintendo of America, especially,
they were like no religion stuff,
no religious iconology or anything like that. Like iconography, they basically like cut all of that out, and that's why you get like a lot of, you know, the older JRPGs or a lot of old NES games just like rehashed or changed a lot of different things. They got rid of things, but that's like everywhere. Like, you know, Europe got rid of I think Ninja was
Teenage
not allowed.
Mutant Hero Turtles is what they were.
Hero Turtles, yes. So you couldn't use Ninja, and so like, I mean, yes.
Don't they have blood censorship too in Germany still?
I think they might.
I don't know about still. They used to.
And like, I mean, if even on Super Nintendo, you didn't get like Mortal Kombat was censored on Nintendo consoles. So like Sega had full blood. Nintendo did not. And so like censorship's always been there, and it's always been a point of contention for a lot of people. Yeah. But it's also like learning to pick and choose the battles of censorship in terms of like, what if the censorship is going to affect the art of the storytelling, and it takes away from like the actual integral piece of like of the game.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, like
what's the themes and the points of, you know, these characters are fighting or something, right?
But there's also like, you also get this weird balance, especially if you're remaking a game from like the 2000s or the 90s, where if they're trying to remake it in 3D or and keep it under like a teen rating, or they don't want to make it a mature audience for audiences.
Yeah. Don't limit their scope.
Yeah. Exactly. So like a lot of like we are, you know, stuck with the ESRB kind of like perspective of like, well, we don't want this to be limited to this, only like 18 plus can go purchase this game, or less likely for parents to purchase this game for their kids because it's going to have all this thing. So there's a lot of points where like you'll get these new games that maybe the previous version had a little bit more, you know, intense
alcohol
scenes
or something,
or alcohol or more skin or more anything like that, and they would basically cut it back so that way they can fit, you know, the game into like a certain ESRB thing, perspective.
Yeah, I agree that the notion of censorship in the Dragon Quest context, like there's never been anything in a Dragon Quest game story-wise that I feel like anybody has really felt like they needed to censor.
What have they censored in Dragon Quest?
I mean, just like the cleavage.
I think it's just the type A, type B type things.
So that's almost, I consider that a separate topic. So type A, type B, I don't think it's thought of as censorship. It's thought of as the woke takeover of video games or whatever. Because we can't say male or female.
Unfortunately, you can lump those together nowadays, the censorship crowd and the woke crowd.
Yeah, you probably could.
You get the same crowd,
Honestly,
there is, and again, it's the same. It's a team sports thing for a lot of people. Like a lot of people would say, like when I review Dragon Quest III, they're like, I refuse to play this because, you know, you can't choose male or female. It's type A or type B, and I'm like, well, type A is male. You know that, right? Like you can look at it, and type B is female. She's got boobs. Like you can look at, you know what I mean? Like you can just look at it and you can see what type A is and what type B is. So like, what's actually wrong here? Like what's hurting you? And if you're not going to play this game because of that, then first of all, I don't know whether you were ever going to really play this game or if you're just like a grifter, like you're just like a social warrior. You just, are fighting the battles that your people online have told you have to fight. Like, if you like video games, play video games, guys. Just play them.
The ones who claim the loudest do not play video games.
They don't. They don't play.
So busy trying to, find every single YouTube video or Twitter comment to,
if you didn't, I'm just going to say it. If you didn't buy Dragon Quest III, if you call yourself a Dragon Quest fan and you didn't get Dragon Quest III HD 2D because it had Type A and Type B, you're not a Dragon Quest fan. Like, get out. You're not a Dragon Quest fan. You're just not. You're just not. And like, that's fine. You don't have to be, but like, don't say that you are. Just don't pretend you are.
We can send this to other series too. Like for Digimon, like if you didn't like the Type 1, Type 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's just silly. That's just so silly. But because they had their own names and everything. Like
they had their own names and they're even clearer. It's not little sprites. Like it's very clear which one is a male and which one's a female. Like calm down.
I just find it like I just find it so silly because like I don't care enough. Like what if I see that I'm just like all right,
on this. There's more important battles. Like I think some important censorship things. Like we don't want certain themes to be cut or ideas to be cut out of media.
No, exactly. Like that's the whole idea. I think
this is just small beans that is polluting the conversation.
Yeah, because like there's so much bigger topics in terms of censorship out there that like whether it's Type A or Type B or whether they're not showing enough cleavage or not is like it's kind of dumbing the conversation down to the point where it's like it's
turning off people who could maybe align with you if you are focused on maybe the more important censored things.
The things that matter.
They just don't want to touch it because like, I don't want to be lumped with these people who are obsessed with cleavage. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, like, fine. Like
the booty shorts. I don't care.
I will say to kind of extend an olive branch to the other side of this argument. I don't totally get why they are going Type 1, Type 2, Type A, Type B.
Yeah,
I feel like it would be fine to say that you could choose a male character or a female character. I think that would be fine.
That's fine.
They are still a thing. Like I know there's a lot more rich understanding of like gender identity today than there was back in the 80s. But like I think most people would agree those are still recognizable genders that exist, right? Like they are options for humanity. So like it doesn't need to be Type A, Type B.
Probably unnecessary for sure.
But I know at the same time, like in Harvestella, it has been 0 days since I've mentioned Harvestella.
Yes.
Like they offered male and female and then non-binary, and that upset them too, right? That upset that crowd very much. That like this would even exist. And so it's like, okay, there's no good faith here. Like, it's not like you can't choose male or female. You can, but there's an option for somebody else. And that's very upsetting. Like,
because there's that option, you reject it all.
I reject the whole thing because somebody else might be comfortable. Somebody else might feel like they're recognized. I don't have any respect for that. I think that's stupid and sucks. But the Dragon Quest generally, I don't totally get. I don't get it. But it's whatever. I can look at the dude and be like, yeah, that's a dude. That's a male character. That's fine. I'll choose him. Maybe I'll choose the other one. Whatever. Who cares? Anyway, that's all. Just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, why worry? Like, as long as it's not ruining the game itself.
Right.
Like,
it has literally no bearing on the game.
Like
none.
The game. I mean, most cases they're like sprites or like even 3D models and things like that. But like within the 3D models, are you really? I mean, I'm not judging, but if you're out there like peeking at all the characters, going around with the camera,
the 3D camera
like
view or whatever,
then maybe you won't like it if they put up a little bit more clothes on them. But at the end of the day, like, doesn't matter.
Focus on the games you want to play, guys.
It's just not the hill I want to die on for most of these things. And I mean, sure, censorship sucks, but at the end of the day, like, I don't know. There's probably some reason, like I said, with ESRBs and things like that. Like they're probably trying to keep within a certain
They want their game to sell well so they can make more, guys.
like so that way kids,
But I don't think that's so
younger
bad
kids
thing.
can play it or anything like that. They can sell it to more people and convince families to buy it for their kids and stuff like that. So like, it is what it is. As long as we're still getting good games with great stories and experiences, and we aren't we're not censoring ideas and like the thought process and the narrative itself. We're not taking away story content that is like deemed like not okay for people like that. No, that kind of censorship is not okay. But for the most part, I don't think we're dealing with that.
I was just curious what like some recent Dragon Quest games were rated. 3 HD was E+, E10 plus. Is that what it's called? E10 plus. 11 is T, T for teen. It's got crude humor, fantasy violence, mild blood. I like spicy blood myself. Simulated gambling, suggestive themes, and use of alcohol. So
nothing about the puff.
Nothing about the puff.
Nothing about the puff.
Maybe that's the suggestive themes. Maybe that's one of the themes that's
probably
the themes.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit suggestive.
It's a little bit.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But who doesn't love a good puff?
It's the most innocent thing. What do you guys mean?
I'm pretty sure it didn't Akira Toriyama create that. Wasn't that from like Dr. What's this? Dr. Slump?
Dr. Slump.
His older manga.
That was
series.
it was like one of his original manga series.
But anyway, I guess in our closing minutes here, what do we hope for the future for Dragon Quest? What do we want it to look like 12 and beyond?
I don't mind if they keep the 11 aesthetic. The 3D models. I think they look great. Like I don't think they need to make it hyper realistic. Please don't.
Oh God,
no.
Please don't.
I want them to
Imagine
keep it
a slime
stylistic.
being hyper realistic. Like what would that look like?
It'd be horrifying.
Or a Jackie or
It
something.
would not
like
look good. Yeah,
No.
some people have mentioned like it's kind of hard. It's kind of there's a split in your mind when you like are facing. Oh, that's so cute. When you're facing some like horrible monster, like especially in Dragon Quest II, you're fighting some of like the vicious like generals of Hargon, and they're just pure evil. And then you look at the character, and they just look like the goofiest dude.
Yeah.
I love it. The goofiest.
Because they were designed back in a time when they didn't have all this dialogue, and you have like rich British accents speaking all their lines. It's a little funny. I kind of don't want them to change that. Even like I do get why that's a little weird. It could be off-putting, but like I do kind of like. I don't know. It's fun. I think it's cute.
The contrast is fun.
It's cute. I think it's cute.
No, I love the design. Like
I'm
it's very whimsical.
Yeah, I'm assuming that one of Toriyama's proteges is going to take over.
Yeah, probably
character designs going forward. Like, and I don't know if I'm assuming Sugiyama has people at his company that are trained in his stylings to continue. So I don't think
we'll come out with the first Dragon Ball store now, and they're going to do new art and stuff.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, in Japan. So I think it's all lined up.
Yeah, so they're gonna keep it going. I don't think we'll notice. I mean, maybe people are gonna say they notice. They're gonna claim they can tell the difference, but probably can't really tell the difference.
No, I mean,
so I think that's
even a lot of the Dragon Ball material that has been created, like Dragon Ball Super materials, not done by Akira Toriyama. Like,
I mean, he's had a team of people for ages, right? Like, it's not every
he doesn't
drawn
draw
by his own hand.
He doesn't design all the characters either anymore. Like he recently did, before his passing, did some more designs, like in terms of some of the new stuff, like that new series that they did with, I think, what's it called again? Die. Yeah. So like he designed some of those, but like for the longest time, like he wasn't really designing a lot.
Yeah.
Of those like extra stuff they were doing.
I feel like that happens a lot when big Japanese creators get really big. They don't really do as much.
It becomes a machine.
Kind of a bummer.
It becomes a machine.
I know for One Piece though, does Oda? Sorry, this is a little off topic. I don't think.
I'm sure
he's
as involved as
I feel like he's
normal.
Very like particular.
Oda's kind of a crazy person. I think he's like
pretty
the kind
crazy.
of person
He
who's
doesn't
like
take breaks.
No, like he is.
But he does still have a
intense
team, right? Like he does still have a standard team that works.
Yeah, I'm sure he has a team.
I think he designs most of it though. Still,
yeah,
it's very.
I think he does most of the designs, and then his team will then
fill in stuff.
Yeah,
do the.
It would be unreasonable to expect him to do literally everything. And same with Dragon Quest, same with Dragon Ball, whatever. Like Toriyama wasn't doing all that. It just wouldn't be feasible. Koichi Sugiyama, I don't know if he composed literally everything for Dragon Quest by his own hand. But
they reuse a lot of the songs. I don't know.
They do.
They really do, yeah.
To the point where sometimes I get a little annoyed, like, oh, this song again. Okay.
That's one downside I noticed in Dragon Quest 1 and 2 is he only wrote one town theme because back then in the 80s, that was enough.
That was enough, sufficient.
And they just didn't add any new music to the game in that sense. So you're going to get the same town theme in every town. At least in Dragon Quest II, when you go to a Dragon Quest I town, it plays the Dragon Quest I town theme. So that's nice.
This is true. Yes, that is nice.
But anyway, yeah. So with 12, I don't care if it's darker or not. I've kind of
the stories are dark though, right? Like we already talked about. There's some heartbreaking moments.
Yeah. I guess what I should say is I'm curious what people think that means.
Yeah.
When they say it's going to be dark,
darker,
like grim dark. I don't know that I want
less comedy because I feel like Dragon Quest does a good job with
it's very funny. Yeah. It's very funny.
It does very comedic moments to very dark moments.
Yeah. It's always been very good at that. I would be bummed if they toned that down for the sake of being gritty and serious.
Edgy.
Don't ever be gritty.
Edgy.
Yeah, then we'll get Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, super.
Yeah, that one a little too far for me. Too excited.
The M-rated Dragon Quest 12. I wanted to maintain the same. I guess kind of like what a lot of Dragon Quest fans would say is I wanted to maintain those core elements of the whimsical adventure feel. I love a protagonist that matters.
Speaks their mind.
Maybe a female protagonist. We have never had
I would love that.
Female protagonist except in 3 when you could choose, and 9 and 10 where you can choose. Never had that as a thing, which it's less meaningful if they don't talk. It's just kind of well, I don't want to say it's less meaningful, but it doesn't
a little bit.
It doesn't change the story.
Themes that where a female protagonist could fill in something a little bit different.
Sure, yeah. There's some opportunities to allow for that with a female protagonist. So yeah, regardless of whether they speak or not, I think that would be cool. Why not?
Yeah,
it's time.
I agree.
It's time. Just by nature of the population being close to 50-50, you'd think half of the games would have female protagonists.
Hey, Dragon Quest was the go-to, right? Stay-at-home mom thing in Japan that they would just play those. That was a huge population of who consumes those games.
Yep.
So, give them.
So let's maybe try that. Try that out.
That'd be cool.
What else? What else do you guys want to see?
Honestly, there's nothing really big that I want to see from it other than just continue to do what they do best. They already hit, they did a great job with 11. Continue to give us good character writing, continue to give us, I want voice acting. Would love to see that.
Voice acting's good.
But outside of that,
no mid-roll credit. That's all I want.
Yeah, please stop it with the double credit roll. I know it's becoming a thing. It's not just Dragon Quest. It's other JRPGs are doing that. Where it's they roll credits and then there's a whole second part of the story, even if it's not the whole second half of the game, like 11 was. I don't love that. I don't get it. I don't understand why that is a thing. Story.
You can have chapters if you want, but not mid-roll credits.
DQ2 does it kind of with the post game. Where they don't, it's not quite the same. It's just a post. There's a couple of post game dungeons or whatever, and you get the true ending. But I just could live without it. If it's the sort of thing where there's multiple endings and you can make a choice as you go, the things you do can affect what you get. Okay, but I don't know. It's like kind of they want to have your cake and eat it too sort of thing, where it's like they want to give you the main story, but they also want to do this other cool thing. And so they have you roll credits and then reload your save and continue. It's like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to see like it not be an over 80-hour experience.
A tighter knit one's nice. It's been so nice playing Dragon Quest I and II HD2D, and the less time commitment to get a nice compact story. Yeah, experience.
Yeah, like, you can give the option to do lots of extra stuff and make it up to 80 hours if you want, but like the core experience, maybe if it's like between, 40, 60 on the high end.
Let's hit it at 60. Let's say, I know going to 40 might be too big of a stretch for people. Let's say 60.
Yeah.
Especially for how long it's been in development.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for like the main, like you're only doing the main story.
Main story, 60 hours, I think.
Like,
I would be fine with 60. I think that's good.
60 is good.
80 for me was 11. That was maybe a little like, I don't want to say it overstayed its welcome, but it was like, I feel like you could have trimmed a little bit off. It would have been fine. 60 hours sounds good. I think, that sounds nice.
Not as intensive grinding. You could grind if you want to min-max your character, but not integral to the main story would be nice.
Yeah. And in terms of combat, do you guys think that having a visible turn order would ruin the Dragon Quest experience?
I'd like it.
I don't think so.
Please give it to me.
I think it would be interesting. Like at each turn, you would see at the bottom of the screen, here is how it's going to play out. Plan accordingly,
Yeah.
Plan accordingly. Because like I've had so many times where like one of my strategies in Dragon Quest II was like, I'm gonna have Perenelle buff the main character, and I'm gonna then have Matilda. She's gonna use the Chiron or Aegon or whatever and get him up, and then he'll attack, and it'll be great because he'll be super buffed up, and then he'll attack first. And I'm like, okay,
that didn't work out.
You ruined my whole plan.
Yeah.
And if I knew the turn order, I could account for that. So I think, I would be okay with that change to the combat. It would be the biggest change to the combat in years if they did that.
True.
But
True.
I wouldn't.
And you could do like agility stuff to make it move them in the time order. So many options there.
Yeah.
I just like that in games in general, like a lot of JRPGs that are actually like letting you manipulate like orders, and
I like that too personally, but we are Trails fans, so maybe that's part of it.
That's true. Yeah. So we are biased in that perspective.
I mean, you could argue the Legend of Heroes series is maybe even older than Dragon Quest.
It's true,
right?
Yeah,
like
it's
got a claim to that. It's got a claim of to that oldest title as well. Reasonable claim.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember when the first Legend of Heroes game came out.
Well, was Dragon Slayer part of the Legend of Heroes series, or was it technically not?
I thought
it's technically it's called Dragon Slayer: The Legend of Heroes. But I think that came out in like 89, 84. I think. Was it 84?
Dragon Slayer came out in 84.
Okay.
Older.
So like, I mean, it might count.
It wasn't turn-based, but
it wasn't. No.
Like, anyway, that's an aside. But yeah, point is, Dragon Quest. If they wanted to change that, I think they could add a turn order. That'd be okay.
Yeah, I agree.
But let us know what you think down in the commentos, please. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you would be okay with them changing in Dragon Quest XII and beyond. And also let us know what are the things that are just like holy ground in your mind. What are the things absolutely, if they touch this, they have ruined it. They have changed it to like, if they made it an action RPG, even Mr. like, touchy-feely, hug the world, everything's cool. Like, I would be like, that's not Dragon Quest anymore. That's not really Dragon Quest anymore, is it? Is it? No.
Is it?
So let us know what you think down in the comments.
First-person shooter. Let's do it.
First-person shooter.
Got a bolt gun.
Just the hero with like double like BFGs. Let's go.
Somebody do a Dragon Quest mod to Doom. Let's make.
I'm sure there has to be one over the years. It's got to be
Couple
somebody
of
who's
years.
done this.
Maybe.
I played a Sailor Moon mod. That was one of my favorites.
Oh, fun. Awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah, back in the day.
Anyway, thank you all
Anyways,
for tuning in.
thank you.
For listening, for watching, for all that stuff that you do. We really appreciate it, don't we?
We do.
Why'd you guys hesitate? You not appreciate it?
I was
I
letting
did.
you share the appreciation, and then I nodded in
I feel
agreement.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
No, we really do appreciate you all for watching and for listening. And thanks especially to our members who support the show and help us be able to do it. We are very appreciative of that as well. And consider becoming a member if you want. Join the Discord, hang out. We're going to be doing a book club here this month. We're going to be discussing Golden Sun. So get ready to get excited. And I think that about does it, right?
I think so. All
Play
right.
Dragon Quest.
Play Dragon Quest, guys.
Yes.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Take care, everyone.